Growing up in a small town, I never quite felt like I fit in, and I always dreamt of leaving. I never doubted for a moment that my parents loved me, but I knew from an early age that they carried something with them, something I wouldn't understand until much later in life. Both of my parents were once homeless youth, with trauma histories only few would understand. Perhaps that's when I first knew that homelessness is the least interesting thing about them. My parents are courageous, resilient, and I could eat my mom's shortbread cookies every day for the rest of my life. Thinking about those warm, melt-in-your-mouth cookies takes me right back, comforting traditions in sometimes tough times. Maybe my purpose in life was written from that early age. I'm reminded of a time when I quickly hid a childhood friend in a shed outside of my house, whisking her away from her father who lived with mental health and substance use. I remember looking into that man's eyes, and I told him, "Go home." I got that survivor sass from my survivor mom. At 17, I moved to the city immediately following graduation, and I decided to work in the spa industry because I loved going to the spa. I found out quickly that I was not meant to work in the spa. Turns out, I don't do feet or sweaty wax jobs. While working at the spa, I volunteered at a youth drop-in center serving meals. I have no idea how I ended up there. Clearly, I was not very good at avoiding this kind of work. It oddly felt like home. I remember so many times I would just want to grab those young people's hands and say, "I see you. You matter. You're worth it." It was there that I first heard about Covenant House Vancouver, a nonprofit organization that serves homeless, at-risk, and trafficked youth ages 16 to 24. Picture this: a 22-year-old small-town girl with no formal experience marching herself down there with a resume. I distinctly remember my interviewer saying, "Well, we really like you, Chelsea, but you're just so young." I begged them to take a chance on me, and I told them that I knew deep in my soul that these kids are worth it. You can run from your purpose, but you cannot hide. I've been at Covenant House for 16 years. I started as a casual youth worker, working my way through social work school. I've worked the front lines, ran a transitional housing program, was the clinical director, and now chief program officer. This is my home. What does home mean to you? A safe place to rest your head? A place of encouragement where your basic needs are met? What if you were a young person and you have none of that? You didn't have a safe place to rest your head. You were told that you were no good, not worthy, a burden. You were always hungry. Your family kicked you out due to your sexual orientation. Your home was the first place that you found drugs, or where your first trafficker was the adult that was supposed to protect you. This is a small sampling of the risk factors that lead to youth homelessness. Youth homelessness isn't just the youth that you see laying on the street. It's the hidden ones, the ones that are couch surfing, the young people that are exploited just for a safe place to sleep, the ones that have nowhere safe to call home. Additionally, we try to implement adult systems to solve youth issues. And the adult systems do not take into account the developmental needs of youth. Take, for example, harm reduction. Overdose is now the leading cause of death for youth in this province. We know that overdose prevention sites save lives. We also know that young people do not feel safe accessing adult services. Yet we are unwilling to have conversations about what overdose prevention could look like for youth. It's seen as condoning youth drug use, and no one wants to go near it. But here's what I know for sure. Dead kids do not recover. We need to be willing to have innovative conversations about developmentally appropriate care in order to save lives. 20% of Canada's homeless population are youth, and many homeless adults state that they were first homeless prior to the age of 25. These are the facts. Yet we don't see this represented in our public policy. It's undercounted, underrepresented, it's invisible. These youth are written off as runaways, misfits, criminals, drug addicts, and if they would just go home, get a job, or go back to school, problem solved. Homelessness is a choice that governments make. This is a nonpartisan issue. Youth homelessness impacts all of us, and you can make a difference. I know this to be true because I have spent nearly 2 decades loving these youth. I believe that real social change starts with youth. One of my greatest mentors told me, if you can intervene in the right way, at the right time, in the arc of a young person's life, their potential is limitless. I believe that an investment in youth is an investment in community. If you can impact the life of one youth, you not only impact them, you impact their friends, their families, their future children, generations of change from one investment, one relationship. That changes communities. I'm reminded of Justin, a third-generation substance user who, with effective support, is now working full-time and living independently. Jessica, a young woman who fled an abusive relationship, participated in our transitional living program, and is now a successful entrepreneur. I often reflect on my time with Emma. Emma was a once trafficked youth who is now successfully parenting her own daughter. And fearless Jade, a young woman with a brilliant mind and access to a scholarship program, she's now attending medical school. 10 years from now, your family doctor that will save your family member's life will have once been a homeless youth. That is the power of seeing them, of telling them that they are worthy and providing the support that they deserve. That changes communities. Homelessness is the least interesting thing about them. Just as I am using my voice today, we can all be a part of changing the narrative, helping people understand that these young people are worth it. Their potential is limitless. There are many ways that you can be a part of this shift in thinking. You can volunteer, question the narratives, advocate. Say hello to a youth on the street or offer a meal. You can vote for those with youth in their political platforms. Check on your friends. Engage with the folks at your dinner table to challenge the stigma. Hug your babies and your friends' babies just a little bit tighter. There is no such thing as someone else's child. Doing these things is an act of resistance, an act of advocacy. We can all be a part of the movement to reduce youth homelessness. Your voice matters. Our voices matter. These youth, they matter. Homelessness is the least interesting thing about them. Thank you.